If you look at all the different components as to why you think you should be able to compete for a Stanley Cup, I think we've got them.
Get ready to fly!
Good morning, afternoon, evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zachary Nolan, known as by the camera.
Yep.
Welcome back. As you can see, I shaved the playoff beard, so it's all gone. I left the mustache because the woman liked it. Not woman, like singular, not plural. It's a tough feeling. It's a tough feeling for sure. I feel a lot of emotions, and I don't think I'm going to be able to really encapsulate all of them, but let's go through it, shall we? So let's talk about the game first. The game is really redundant in comparison to everything else that we're going to feel tonight. But let's start with the game. The Jets come out and lose 4-1 to the Vegas Golden Knights in a must-win hockey game. Now, that doesn't tell the whole story. Let's kind of back it up. The first period for the Winnipeg Jets, they have Nikolai Ehlers back. Good. They're missing Mark Scheifele. Not so good. They're missing Cole Perfetti. Not so good. They're missing Josh Morrissey. Oh, dear God. They're missing David Gustafsson as well, and Dave Riddick, but neither of them might have played. Carson Kuhlman is in. He actually looked okay, but it's really frustrating to me because Carson Kuhlman, and I do not want to spend a lot of time on Carson Kuhlman, trust me. Carson Kuhlman has really good positioning around the net, but he has the worst shot this side of Axel Jonsson-Fjällby. Like, he got in the slot area a bunch of times throughout this game, but just could not hit the net. Lauren Brossoit and Hellebuck are back in net. It's unfortunate because, Hellebuck, he struggled early. And the Jets struggled to really give him a chance. 50 seconds in, Chandler Stevenson scores to make it 1-0 Vegas. Reaction here.
Over across, they score!
Oh, Christ. Oh, Christ. Oh, Christ. Oh, Christ. Christ. And you know what? We talk about injuries. The inconsistencies are just as bad for the Winnipeg Jets. I'm going to go through this game really quickly. The first period is not abhorrent, but every time there was a defensive breakdown, it went in the back of the net for the Winnipeg Jets. The Jets with Mark Stone will make it 2-0 in the second period. Reaction here.
Stone picks it up, drops it down, fires, scores! Mark Stone does it all. Catches the puck, drops the puck, shoots the puck, and it's 2-0 Vegas.
They would then really open the scoring to make it 3-0. Reaction here.
Vegas in front of the net, over, scores! 3-0 Vegas Golden Knights. And the march is on.
Stop, he's already dead. Oh, there's a Seattle jersey in the
And then after, now this is the one thing that I'm gonna rip the refs on, and also to the other one being and also too, I was really annoyed that they challenged for a hand pass on the final goal. But you know what? Fuck it, whatever. I think actually we did scare Vegas at the end there, which is, moral victory. This is a bad penalty on Adam Lowry. Adam Lowry does a stick lift and gets called for a hooking and goes to the box, and within 10 seconds of that, they score to make it 4-0 reaction.
Gonna do it anyway!
Gary Bettman bet on Vegas.
Shot scores! And Vegas says, thanks, ref, I will do that. And it's 4-0. The dagger, the final dagger in this game.
And yeah, going into the third period. Carter, what are your thoughts?
And this is how you fucking kidding me! Come on! Yeah!
Morning, afternoon, and
My turn, jackass!
Sweet! Get the fuck out of here!
What a stop by Hellebuck! Little back hitter going.
The end of an era. The Winnipeg Jets obviously fall short. Vegas Golden Knights. Sucks that it happened in sort of the same way to 2018. However, I mean, at the end of the day, just too many injuries. We were missing a lot of players. And it was, when you have that many guys injured, it's going to be hard to win. I'm glad that the Jets put up a fight in this game. They won the third period. I'm glad that we won a period. The fact that they went 8 minutes straight, actually, with an empty net and not giving up that empty net goal to Vegas. It sucks that that was considered a hand pass. I completely understand why they considered that. However, I think one thing that maybe people are forgetting about with that play is that it's like, if he hits that with his stick and not with his hand, he makes the exact same motion. So I thought it was not enough evidence, as it didn't really show the hand directly hit it, more of just kind of the motion. But I understand why they called it the way they did. But it is what it is. I'm glad that the Jets at least went down with a fight, despite the fact that it was an abysmal first and second period. It is what it is. It's the last Carter's Corner of the season. Hopefully coming at you again next season. This is the end of it with the core. Guys are going to be gone. I expect Dubois to be gone, Stanley to be gone. Well, it's hardly part of the core. But, Scheifele, Hellebuck, a lot of these guys, they're going to be traded away. I don't see us do much of re-signing. I think the only guys in the top six we keep are Ehlers, Connor, Perfetti, and that's it. And so we're going to be going into a rebuild. That's the way it's going to be for us. It's sad to see it happen. Obviously when the Jets first came here, Scheifele was kind of that first piece of the core that we got. However, it's at the point now when that it's not happening with this core. So I think it's time to blow it up and give guys like Brad Lambert, Recker McGroarty, Chaz Lucius, get those guys in the lineup and see what they're able to do. Trade away some cap, soak some cap in, get some picks, and let's rebuild this team and let's get back to the playoffs. So, yeah, this is my Carter's Corner, my last one of the season, signing out. Back to Zach.
Thank you. And then we go to the third period, and the Jets have their best period of the last two games of the series by far, because with 8 minutes left, they pull the goalie and start pouring on the pressure like there's no tomorrow. But I really would have loved that if you'd done that the whole goddamn game. And they score to make it 4-1. Reaction here, Kyle Connor.
Kyle Connor out in front. Shot that goes wide. Another near miss by the Jets. Out front again. Shot. They score! Yeah! Let's go, boys. Let's go. There we go. One. Nicely done. Out of the way, Connor. Jets on the board with over 5 to go. KFC. I got one.
And then Blake Wheeler thinks he scores his last. Pierre-Luc Dubois possibly scores his last goal as a Winnipeg Jet, but doesn't count. And it really sucks because, you know what, I would have liked to see a game before too, just to see where we went from there. Gets called back for hand pass, sure. To me, it didn't look really conclusive enough, but I think they were just adding it up, like where could the stick touch it. But again, where was this during the high sticking review in Edmonton? But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. They just weren't going to win this game no matter what. They just didn't have the depth. Vegas is the better team, and that's fine to say. It's fine to admit. Vegas is a first seed in the West. You are an 8th seed. And what harkens back to this, obviously the Jets run out of time, but let's talk about the real things here. This team was never going to win a cup. No matter how much we wanted to lie to ourselves and say that we could. This core can't get it done. They had a chance in 2018, and they couldn't. They had a good chance in 2019, and they couldn't. And that was it. Afterwards, we just started stalling. People left their prime. Mark Scheifele comes out and says he's in his prime, scores 40 goals. Sure, your point total dropped, and so did your full-on play. This team was dead after game 55. This team was good up until game 45. They led the West in game 45 against the Arizona Coyotes. And then it slowly crumbled. And you know what? It's like that saying, we are who they thought they were. Who we thought they were. They are who they thought we were.
We are who they thought we were.
No, they are who we thought they were.
This is like a George W.
There
Bush
it
quote
is.
right now.
There it is. There it is.
There's an old... You fool me, we can't get fooled again.
And the Jets are exactly who we thought they were. Pretenders. And it's fine. Hellebuck had a bad series. He did. Connor Hellebuck, probably his worst series in the last, I want to say 3 years of playoffs. This is his worst. It's arguably his worst series since the first time they played the Vegas Golden Knights. He didn't look good in games 2, 3, and 4. Game 5, what are you going to do? But he didn't get any help throughout games 2 to 5. This series, if the Jets win game 3, it's such a what if. Maybe they make it competitive, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all. This team wasn't going to win the series, and that's fine. I accept that. Now, where do we go from here? Do we rebuild or do we retool? We retool and rebuild. And what does that mean? Pierre-Luc Dubois is gone. Pierre-Luc Dubois played his last game as a Jet tonight. We all knew it. We all knew it coming in. That's okay. Blake Wheeler probably played his last game as a Jet tonight. I don't know what they trade for him, though. And the thing with Blake Wheeler is, what can you get higher than the 3rd-round pick? But you also need that cap to do something. I want to see this team revitalized with youth next year. I think the leaders that can take this team forward are Josh Morrissey on the back end, Adam Lowry on the bottom 6, Kyle Connor on the top 6, Nikolai Ehlers in the top 6. Now, here's the scary thing. You are left with no center depth. Your center depth, you completely thrown away. There's a bunch of guys who I expect to get traded, and a bunch of guys will move on from. And actually, let's go through this right now, because we have time. We have time. This is going to be a big dissection of this team. Neil Pionk, we can trade. We can trade Neil Pionk, and I'm okay with that. Can't trade Josh Morrissey. Kyle Capobianco, we're going to hold on to. I know it. He's got a 2-year deal. No need to trade him. We don't have to trade him. There's not a big value up there. We don't trade Dylan Sandberg. I want to keep Dylan Sandberg. And I know people are still mad about that turnover. It's bad luck. Dylan Sandberg played great defensively throughout this entire season. He just needs to know a little. It just takes time. This was his rookie year. This is literally the lowest point in his career. Dylan DeMello, I'd like to keep him. I would like to keep Dylan DeMello. Brendan Dillon, we can move on from Brendan Dillon. We can actually technically trade DeMello if we want to, for a 4th-round pick, and that's fine. Brendan Dillon, Carter, I'm getting there. Brendan Dillon, we can trade Brendan Dillon. Logan Stanley, trade Logan Stanley. Nate Schmidt, trade Nate Schmidt. Trade Nate Schmidt. 5th-round pick I'll take. He's just not there. He's not where he needs to be. And who do I want to see in the defense in their place? I want to see Declan Chisholm. I want to see Ville Heinola. And I want to see possibly Gawanka. I want us to fully embrace this new core. I want to have that same excitement that I had when Jacob Trouba, Josh Morrissey were coming up in the system. I want to feel that again. And this team for the last few years have been just going in the hamster wheel and not letting us fully embrace that, because they've been scared that means that we'd have to change our identity to a team that isn't competitive for a couple of years. That's probably true, but look at teams like the Nashville Predators. Look how well they did when they were actively tanking. That's a team that is setting up its core for the future and now. They still have some prospects to work into their system. And was playing like a lightning rod near the end of the year. I want to feel that same excitement. I want to feel weird things. I want to feel what the Montreal Canadiens fans feel. Do you see how happy they are? They're not a good team, no. But they have hope, and they see where the future is going. I want to see where the future is going. I want the blueprints next year. Rick Bowness, I think, has 1 more year on his deal. And honestly, I'd move on from Rick Bowness.
What about Nino?
I'm getting there.
Yeah.
I'd move on from Rick Bowness. I think Rick Bowness is good, but I don't know if he can connect with the younger players. And he really struggled to connect with Nikolai Ehlers, who Ehlers needs to be in the plan. He needs to be a guy that you prioritize. Connor Hellebuck. Okay, so Dave Riddick, first off, we're going to move on from Dave Riddick because he's got his contract's expired. And honestly, I'd like to see either Oskari Salminen or Arvid Holm come in the backup. What I would like to see is one of them move up. I'd also like to see, you can use Evan Cormier as a third string goalie, or you can just play him in the ECHL. I want Dominic DiVincentis. He's got one more year, I think, in the OHL, but holy fuck, I love Dom. I love Dom. I love him. He's the best. Connor Hellebuyck's funny. If we're rebuilding, trade Connor Hellebuyck. If we're retooling, keep Connor Hellebuyck. If you're rebuilding, Connor Hellebuyck will win too many games. That's the problem. And maybe you'll get lucky and you'll get playoff 2023 Hellebuyck where he won't win you any games. And, you know, hey. And don't even tell me he won game 1. He had 17 shots against him in game 1. Fuck off. Let's go to the forward core now. What time are we at in this video, Carter?
We're about 10 minutes, 11 minutes.
That's fine.
This one's going to be a long one. It's okay.
Kevin Cheveldayoff also, here's the thing. Keep him with an asterisk. If he makes the moves to get players out, keep him. If he doesn't, done. Kevin, you've done a lot for this franchise. You put the Winnipeg on the map in terms of the NHL. But you need to accept that things are moving. I can accept you because your drafting is so fucking good. You are one of the best drafting. Your scouting is elite. I can keep you if you are willing to shift with the times. You fucked us a bit this year because you didn't do anything. You got Nemesnikov and you got Niederreiter. That was it. But yeah, let's go forwards. Sam Gagner, I think we don't keep. I think Sam Gagner signs a 1-year deal with the Edmonton Oilers to ring chase for a Stanley Cup in his final year. If you want to keep him for 1 year, sure. I wouldn't. Axel Jonsson-Fjallby, you re-sign. He's an RFA. He's protected. I re-sign him. Because at the very least, you have a guy who you can play like a Dominic Toninato or a Jansen Harkins, who you sign him and then you can throw him in the AHL if you want to. Or you can keep him on the 4th line. I actually saw a lot of good things from Axel Jonsson-Fjallby, and he is still in his 20s, so you never know. Mark Scheifele trade. Yeah, trade Mark Scheifele. I love Mark Scheifele. I love everything he's done for this team, but everything he's done for this franchise, he's our first ever draft pick as a Winnipeg Jet. Trade him. You gotta trade him. Blake Wheeler, trade. Pierre-Luc Dubois, he's not gonna give you a fucking choice. Trade. Send him to Montreal. Hope that you can get Kirby Dach back in the deal. That's what I'm thinking. A first and Kirby Dach, or a second and Kirby Dach. You need something to salvage that. That is your line A trade tree. You need to salvage something from that. Niederreiter, he's a tough one because he's got 1 year left. So you keep him for the year, so you can hold off, see where it's at. If he's good, you can play him in the bottom 6. But other than that, maybe you might need to trade him next year. You might need to trade him at the deadline. Mason Appleton, fire out of a fucking cannon. I hate Mason Appleton. Like, I like him as a player, but since we've brought him back, he hasn't been the same. Cole Perfetti, keep Cole Perfetti. I feel like that's a no-brainer. But also, too, keep with the understanding that he fucking stays healthy. And I'm thinking, like, serious rehab, do whatever secret surgery across the Middle East, wherever you gotta go. Find the witch doctors, fix your shit. That man needs to be healthy for a year. A year before you eat. Don't even let him drive his own car. You got a driver on that shit. Morgan Barron. Keep Morgan Barron. I cannot stress this enough. If you trade Morgan Barron, I will find you. I will find where you live. I will not kill you. I will haunt you every day of your fucking life. Don't you dare trade Morgan Barron. Moving on. Who else offensive forwards do we have left? Carson Kuhlman. Gone. Carson Kuhlman to the sun. Send him to Moscow. I don't want to see him in the NHL.
Make the trip back to Winnipeg.
No! Wandong Tigers! Ni hao! Ni hao!
Gotta love Shaq.
Nemesnikov.
Kunlun Red Star! Nemesnikov, you're not going to keep him. let's be honest, you're not going to keep him. I would actually...
Has to bounce to another team.
I'd actually love to keep Nemesnikov if you could, like, maybe give him another look-see. But, no, he's not going to sign here. He waived his no-moving clause to get here because he thought he could make the playoffs. He's not signing here, and that's okay.
And then Lowry is obviously...
Lowry's staying. There's more fourth-liners we got to get. Hang on.
Stanley!
Stenland. I'm going to make a hot take here. You know what? Fuck it. Keep Stenland.
I like Stenley.
No, hear me out. Put your cabbages away! We can send him to the AHL. To quote a neurotic woman, I can fix him. I can fix him. I can make him something. And you know what? People laugh. We love our AHL team. Also, by the way, support your local Manitoba Moose tomorrow night.
Go
I want to
Moose!
see you guys at Canada Life Center tomorrow. I know it sucks. Manitoba Moose have a good team. Support them.
Saku Maenalainen.
You know what, though? I feel bad. Because you know what? Saku had a great start to the season. He did. But you can't re-sign him. You can't. He didn't do anything near the end. He looked like an anchor on the bottom six. He couldn't do anything. Who else? I'm going to actually take a look at the roster for a second. Because I want to make sure I missed no one. But also, who are the guys I want to see in the offense next year for the Winnipeg Jets? I want to see Danny Zilkin try it for this team. Zilkin is so fucking fast. I love him. I want to see Brad Lambert try to make this team. I want to see Rutger McGroarty try to make this team. I want to see Chaz Lucius try to make this team. I want to see even fucking Jeff Malott try to make this team. I want people to try to make this team. Like, I want to see them there. Now, I'm just going to look through the list to make sure I didn't miss anybody. I don't think I did. David Gustafson. You can keep him as a fourth line.
Keep the Gus
centerman.
Bus.
Keep the Gus Bus with the understanding that, motherfucker, we can send you to the AHL if we have to. What are we at? What are we at for time?
We are at 17 minutes.
You see, here's the thing with the Jets, I will say. I'm hurting a lot, and I'm going to grieve a lot. Also, tomorrow, check out our special video. I'm in Minneapolis tomorrow, so I said, fuck it. Let's go watch the Minnesota Wild lose in 6. So I'll be at that game. But thank you, by the way, for everyone who tuned into the live stream. I know this is a really long video. I'm sorry if I'm boring any of you. I just need to get it all out. Let it out of my system. This team wasn't special this year. As much as we wanted to think it was. It wasn't. And I don't think next year is going to be a lot better, to be honest. I think next year we're either going to run it back, which will make me want to strangle someone, or we are going to be rebuilding, or retooling, whatever we want to call it. I appreciate all of you guys who stuck with this team the whole way. I will stick with the team the whole way next year. Despite my better judgment, I am committing to 82 game reactions next year. I am going to live to regret that by week 3, but we're doing it because, you know what, I appreciate it, and it's something that I do that no one else does. Like, everyone covers games, I cover all of them for the Winnipeg Jets. I'm the only one who does it, so I feel pride. In terms of planning for this channel, our plans are to be streaming the second round of the playoffs in the Western Conference. We're going to stay away from teams like Toronto, Boston, the Rangers, the Devils. I don't want to cover those teams. I want to cover the West for the most part. So what my plan is I'm going to cover the winner, like Vegas versus the winner of LA and Edmonton, and the winner from the Central Division matchups, because I want to. And I hope you guys will tune into those live streams. They're not going to be as high intense as these ones, but they're there.
And also, because we played those teams more, we have better knowledge of them.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, it feels weird not feeling a beard here. It feels fucking weird, lads. I feel like a child again. But yeah. I don't know what else to say.
When CFL starts up, we got Bombers.
Yeah, CFL content coming up. thank you so much for watching, guys.
Well, and one thing as well, we might do something Moose related if they keep.
Yeah,
if
we'll
they have a
we'll
good
do
run.
we'll do an update video on every round the Moose plan. Right now they're gonna play the Milwaukee Admirals. We'll give you an update on how that series goes. So it's the best 3 of 5. But yeah, guys, 3 stars of the game. We don't need them. Mike Ward, we don't need it. Thank you so much for watching, guys. As always, appreciate it. This is the end for the Jets season. End of the Jets game reactions. Appreciate you guys the whole way. Thank you for sticking with us from game 1 or game 82, depending on when you joined in. Doesn't matter to me. Appreciate you nonetheless. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.
Connor, the old Spectre top for Connor, and front score!